Okay, we should be live. We are early today, let alone on time. We're really making history here.
So I'm
So
going to
make sure everything is all working, and then we can begin.
Oh, echo. Hold on. There we go. The echo's off. I already had the other controller set in. I was one step ahead. All right, we should be good. So we've got weeks 15 through 17 today. We're going to get through a majority of the rest of the regular season, only 4 more weeks to go. And we're going to be doing 3 of them today. And then week 18 will be, I guess, Friday or Saturday or Sunday or whenever. And then we will eventually get into the playoffs. So it's good. Barker, Dan, SGYT, C-Mill, how's everybody doing? So for our votes, what I normally do with a 3-week stream is that we watch 2, and we simcast the other winning game. So I have no idea if these poll numbers are correct. I don't think they are. Because Discord chooses to be slow with these numbers. So for week 15, the first week, it looks like game A, the Commanders and the Cougars won. Week 16, it looks like A won again. That would be the Rams and the Eagles. I feel like all these votes changed right at the end. Huh. And then week 17, it looks like game A won again, which is the Orbits and New England. So I guess we'll be watching game A. Although it does, some of the numbers look wrong because like when I click to see like who voted for what, those are the games that won. But when I just look at like the numbers like on the bottom before I click to see all of the individual reactions, different games won each week. So I have no idea what's right and what's wrong. BCB for you. For me, like when I'm not clicking it on the individual reactions, it's BCC. So I have no clue what's right and what's wrong. Let's just vote in here. That honestly might not be the worst idea. Because I have no idea if this is working as it should or not. So I guess if that's the case, then we can just vote in here. Okay, so look at the poll for week 15. We'll do one at a time. Look at the poll for week 15 and type in the letter of the game that corresponds with what's on the poll. And I guess just vote for one for now. And it can be any of the 5 games, by the way. It doesn't, like, for example, E got last place, but if you really want E, you can vote for E. You can vote for any game you want. I guess since I can vote for any game I want, I originally voted C or D. I think those are the 2 best games. We haven't watched the Rams yet, and we've only watched the Monarchs once, so I'll put my vote on for D, although it seems pretty close between B and A. B, A, B, A, C. Wow, no one likes D. The disrespect. We have not watched the Rams once. And I want to vote, what are the teams? Okay, so it seems like it's going to be either B or A. A is the Commanders and the Cougars. Wait, that's not even the right week. Why does it say Dallas? What the hell? It says Commanders Cougars on the poll. Did we type it in right? We might have not even gotten the game right. No, we... Yeah, we... Oh, I see what happened. Okay, so when Nick and Nader listed all of the games in the admin chat, I don't know if this was him or if it was Nick when he originally typed out the schedule, but the Cougars are listed twice. The Commanders play the Cowboys, but on the poll it says they play the Cougars. So I don't know exactly where somebody messed up, but somebody messed up. And Dallas isn't really in playoff contention, so I guess in that case, it seems like people kind of like B, which is the Steamers and the Nighthawks, and both of those teams are fighting for playoff spots. No, you didn't get it wrong, yes, UIT. It was already like that, and it's a small mistake. It's not a big deal, whoever originally messed up. So I guess we should pick B, because that was the next most popular game, and both of those teams are fighting. The Nighthawks have a strong chance, don't they? Yeah, they're 6 and 7. So both the Nighthawks and the Steamers are right on the bubble. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that game. We'll do that one. So that's the winner for Week 15. Now we're going to do Week 16. Since it's a 3-week stream, I think and we're only watching 2, we should decide all of them now at once. So for Week 16, again, you can vote for any game you want, correspond it with the letter on Discord. We're already watching the Steamers, and we have seen the Bengals twice. I would not mind watching the Bengals again, but I'll vote for D. I kind of like that game. New England and Denver are two of the best teams in the conference. They may be our biggest competition. So I'll vote for D. A, E, D, C, E, D. Okay, so D is beating E by 1. D again. Another vote for D. Glad we're on the same page. D is a good choice. EA claims Christmas doesn't exist, but it's on Christmas Day. Would Christmas be on... So it's Week 16, right? Yeah. Monday. Is Christmas on a Monday in the year 2023? I guess if Christmas was on a Sunday this year, then yeah, that would make sense. So that game is on Christmas. For what it's worth. Octi likes D, huh? You know it. Pause. So I think D is winning. I guess that's the choice for Week 16. Although it seems like E is pretty close. Cougars, Bills, or we riot. Well, there might be a riot because I don't know if that game's winning. Let me recount just to make sure. So, E, D, D, E, D, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3. 4-3, D is winning. Any objections? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Trey White in a Texans jersey while we wait, or I riot. Okay, I can do that. I object. I guess I should have expected that. Somebody, one of those teams to object. Well, it looks like D is winning, so I think that's what we're going to pick. Who got Russ? The Titans got Russ. And then Week 17. So it looks like we're going D. That's what it seems like we're doing. And then Week 17, again, vote for any game you want based on the letter. Which game do I want to pick? We haven't watched the Dreadnoughts. I kind of want to watch them because they're pretty good. So I'm going to vote for B. C, C, B, B. Yeah, C was my second choice, so I'm good with either of those games. B, Dreadnoughts, that's B. So Dreadnoughts Texans is up 5-2. So it seems like that game is going to win. So now that we've decided the 3 games, Steamers Nighthawks week 15, Broncos Patriots week 16, and Texans Dreadnoughts week 17, we're going to watch 2 and simcast the other one. So put the game that you want to watch the least in the chat. Again, week 15, it's this game. Week 16, it is this game. And week 17, it is this game. I'll vote for week 15 because those are the 2 lesser teams of the group. Broncos, Pats, Steamers, Nighthawks, that's 15. 15's up 3-1 to nothing. Bills won't... At least we have watched the Bills this year, though, so it's not like we've completely neglected them. 15th, yeah, it seems like everyone wants to simcast 15. And if the game is good, we'll hop in and watch. So, seems like that's the move. So we will simcast Nighthawks and Steamers, and we will watch the 2 games afterwards. Siri, give me a number between 64 and 65. 64. I think the Steamers are the road team. Flex your first. Okay, we can flex your picks once we get to the Steamers. Yeah, don't the Raiders have like 4? I think they have 4. Yup, including 2 in the top 7. Not bad. Something went wrong. Oh no, I thought it glitched out on me for a second. Now it's working. So Pokemon can pick his jerseys, although there's not really much of a choice. Does he want to wear red? Is their home jersey red? It should be. Oh, it's black. Okay, well that's kind of still good. So black or white? Because Madden's too lazy to add alternates for the relocation teams. Also, I think it seems like a couple people mentioned VC, so if people want to do that, you can. I might hop in a little bit too. Over under Mason Rudolph 350 passing yards. I'm gonna say under by like subtracted by 2. You guys don't have color rushes because Madden's lazy. You only have black or white. And then the Nighthawks have, I guess, white or purple. And what's their other pants color? Purple. Yeah, I think we can all agree this is the move for them. Regardless of what Portland does. Or not Portland, Memphis. L. Octi. I'm not stupid, though. I know Mason Rudolph isn't good. They don't have Color Rush? No, because EA is a lazy company who doesn't care about us. Although apparently there are rumors that EA is actually going to try this year for Madden 24. I have no idea how true that is. I'll do black. Okay. Wait, why did I click advanced settings? There we go. So we'll be starting with our Simcast game for Week 15, the Nighthawks and the Steamers. Both teams need to win here because they are right in the mix for the wild card races in their respective conferences. They can't really afford many more losses, so a win today would be pretty nice for both of these teams as 46-year-old Tom Brady faces off against rookie C.J. Stroud. The Nighthawk Stadium's kind of cool. Which type of stadium do they have? I don't remember. Oh, that's futuristic. Okay. Well, that's probably why it looks cool. A lot of defense so far. Both offenses now getting into a groove. Now they're really getting into a groove. OKC seems to have the upper hand. But now Memphis quickly takes the lead back. We're going to go slower. This looks like kind of a good game. Memphis is now up by 11. And it looks like they force a turnover. Antoine Winfield Jr. with the interception. Okay, so Memphis is good. They're going to win this game. So we've got a high-scoring finish. But the Nighthawks fall defeat to the Memphis Steamers, 42-31. Big win for the Steamers, not just in the AFC wildcard race, but if they want any chance of coming back in the division, which if they do, they're going to have to beat us this upcoming week. And if they do beat us, then things get really interesting in the AFC North. Both quarterbacks were really good. Tom Brady threw 5 touchdowns. C.J. Stroud was very good himself. So all the AFC wildcard teams should be upset with this game, and all the NFC wildcard games or NFC wildcard teams should be pleased. So that means we can get on to simming. I think everybody has done their bye weeks now, so everybody has a game these last 4 weeks of the year. I didn't even mean to see our result, but we won. So that means if we win this week, we clinch the division. Is that 7 in a row for the Cincinnati Bengals? I believe it is. The Steelers were 6-7, so that means they win. They beat the Oilers. Ooh, this makes things a little bit more complicated in the AFC wildcard race. Joe Burrow with 4 touchdowns. Isaiah Thomas was pretty good as well, despite losing. Calvin Mentor is back in the slot, and he still was quiet. Huh. That's interesting. The Texans start a new win streak at 1 as they beat the Titans with a nice fourth-quarter comeback, outscoring them 17-0. Lamar Jackson was good. Zip and Zappy zipped it around. King Henry played well despite losing. 2 sacks for the newly paid Rashawn Gary and the newly paid Chris Jones. The Titans, they lost, obviously. The Vikings, they lose to the Niners. Yikes! And they lost bad, 24-7. Sean Tucker had 69 yards. I didn't even notice that. I am pleased to see that result. Travis Flight outplayed Tua. Good for him. Tua sucked. Saquon Barkley was good. Remember when the Vikings were good and competing for the NFC North? They were like 4-1 or whatever. That was fun. Yeah, 4-1. Then they go to the bye week and they have won 2 games since then. Yikes. We beat the Colts by 5, 19-14. Pretty low-scoring game, so the defense won it for us this time. Matt Corral had probably his worst game of the year, and we still won. Joe Mixon played well. Joe Mixon needs to take my damn contract extension. Michael Thomas was really good. T. Higgins as well. That's cool. So who stood out on defense? Emmanuel Ogbah had 2 sacks, a number of guys with 1. Interceptions for Jalen Petrie, who also needs to take my damn contract extension, and Trayvon Walker. The Bills lose to the Broncos, so Denver's win streak continues, 30-27. Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. Lap Dance Lance was not too good in the first game of his extension. Me and Octi have very similar rosters. Take a wild guess on which person who's 10-4 and which team is 5-9. EA seems to like Matt Corral. Jesse Bates with 2 interceptions. The Broncos won against the Bills, so they have not lost since week 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're the only team with a longer win streak than us, and I guess the Monarchs as well. The Chargers beat the Jets in the Tank Bowl. Actually looks like a pretty exciting game that went into overtime. Mason Rudolph was not horrible in his debut. He was actually better than the other quarterback, Justin Herbert. Breece Hall and Aaron Jones each scored twice. The Colts lost to the Bengals. The Commanders lose to the Cowboys. So a big win for Dallas. Their losing streak is finally over. Deshaun Watson finally played well. About damn time. While Mac Jones completed 69% of his passes and also played well. Brandon Ayuk, 218 yards, and they still lost. Okay. Brandon Ayuk is pretty good. In case you didn't know, kids. The Cougars, in the Derek Carr debut, have now lost 4 in a row, this time to the Panthers. Washington could have clinched the division with a win. I guess they'll have another opportunity here these last 3 weeks. I really said the Chargers beat us. Oh, did the Jets win? Okay, that's my bet. The Jets win. Good win for the Jets. Hurting the Lions' draft picks. Josh Jacobs played well, despite losing, as the Cougars continue to get Cougar-dominated. The Cowboys won. The Desperados lost to the Dreadnoughts. Hobie is 1-0 in his coaching career with San Antonio. Jalen Hurts played well. Kyler Murray was pretty good, too. Damian Harris ran well. Juju with a nice game. Kyle Pitts with 2 touchdowns. Trying to make himself some money. Von Miller with another big game. He's at, 22 sacks? I don't know. I've lost count. The Eagles beat the Orbits 23-17. So a big-time win for Philadelphia, who is right in the mix in the NFC wildcard race. After a little while, it looked like they were kind of out of it. The Orbits needed to win, and, well, they don't. So they have a little less margin for error. Chidobe Awuzie with an interception. I'm pretty sure he leads the NFC now. That's my boy. The Explorers beat the Snowhawks 29-28 by outscoring them 15-0 in the fourth quarter. Marcy Mercado was pretty good. Zach Wilson was pretty mid. C-Mill really was able to get a go pokes out of Littlejaw. Be honest with me, who should Ohio State hire? Well, who's available for the job? I've been on the Nate Oates train for a while. Not that's like a huge jump for him. I don't know if I'm on the Nate Oates train anymore, but I was after the stuff today. The Golden Eagles beat the Lions 31-10. Stetson Bennett started. Hector benched Brissett. I don't know why. Brissett was actually playing pretty well. But Stetson Bennett started and he played well. Justin Fields did not play well. Who could have seen that one coming? Zay Flowers was good. Myles Garrett with 2 sacks. Myles Garrett's pretty good at football. The Jets won. The Lions lost. So with the Jets and Niners winning, the Lions had the worst record in the league. The Monarchs beat the Rams 35-28. They outscored the Rams 28-7 in the fourth quarter. What a comeback. 28 points in one quarter. Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott both played pretty well. Chidobe Awuzie is him. He is him. Devontae Adams is as well. Malik Willis time? Well, it's Trey Hendricks' time as well. He had 4 sacks, but yeah, we can put Willis in. The Nighthawks lost. We saw that game. The Oilers lost. The Orbits lost. The Panthers won. Wow, the Panthers have quietly won a few in a row. They've won 4 straight. The Patriots got smothered by the Raiders. How about that? 38-14. Are the Raiders for real? They might just be. Desmond Ridder was very good. Josh Allen threw 4 interceptions. I don't know if the Raiders have a realistic shot. Nice game by Ronald Darby. I don't know if the Raiders have a real shot to pass Denver in the division because Denver's red hot. But they're certainly playing well enough to get a wild card. They have won, 5 of 6. And their only loss is to a good Bills team. The Rams lost, of course. The Ravens keep their tank going as they lose to Seattle. The Seahawks trying to grasp on straws to grab an NFC wildcard spot. Mahomes was good. Sam Darnold was also good. So the Ravens are going to have fun with a rookie quarterback next year, while the Seahawks are trying to win any game they can. Who do they have the rest of the year? They've won 3 in a row. They have Dallas, the Cougars, and the Steamers. Okay, that's not easy, but I wouldn't say that's hard either. None of these teams are like that crazy good, but none of them are that bad. And that brings us back to the Steamers. That's everyone. So I would imagine we're going to start to see teams clinching stuff this week. Nobody has yet, but I think that'll change. Players of the week, Brandon Ayuk, Joe Burrow, Trey Hendrickson, and Will Anderson. 3-13 conference record with the resource they have is nasty. You're not wrong. All right, we've had 4 teams clinch. Okay, hello. The Monarchs clinch the division, while the Texans, Patriots, and Broncos clinch at minimum a wild card spot. So these 4 teams are now in, while these teams like us, Washington, Commanders, the Rams, and the Dreadnoughts are all pretty close to officially clinching as well, possibly this week. So going by division, if we win, we clinch the division. It's pretty much that simple. Hooday. The Texans, with a win, they clinch the division as well. The Oilers are still right in the mix for a wild card. New England, with a win, they clinch the division. The Bills and Orbit still fighting for a spot. And the Broncos, if they win this week, they clinch the division as well, with the Raiders right in the mix too. The Monarchs officially win the division, with the Vikings selling to end the year, while London has won 10 in a row. The NFC South race is by far the most interesting one, because this is like the only close division. The Dreadnoughts are a game ahead of the Panthers and Golden Eagles, but all 3 of these teams are really neck and neck. The Commanders can clinch the NFC East with a win, and the Rams clinch with a win and a Seattle loss. So every division other than the South, the NFC South, can be clinched this week. Here's a look at the playoff picture. The Texans are back to the 1 seed. The Monarchs are still there in the NFC. 2 through 4 hasn't really changed too much other than 1 and 2 swapping. And then the Bills, Raiders, and Oilers are currently wild cards, while in the NFC the wild cards are Carolina, Mexico City, and the falling Cougars, who are now 7. As for the teams in the hunt, let's see. So the Oilers were 7, I think. So the Steamers, Orbits, and Steelers are a game behind them, and the Colts still have a shot, while these teams down here are all out. Then in the NFC, the Cougars have a 7, but the Eagles, Seahawks, and Vikings are tied with Chicago. The Nighthawks, Explorers, and I guess to a lesser extent these 2 are still in it as well. So that brings us to Week 16. We're watching, I believe, Denver and New England. Both teams have already clinched a playoff spot. The winner officially clinches their division for good. Siri, give me a whole number between 212 and 213. 212. That is Denver. So we will use the Broncos. After I do the little switcheroo that the Orbits want. I know New England's coach was here. I don't know if Garrett is here for picking jerseys. Yeah, Dan is here, so you can pick your stuff. You can go blue, you can go white, you can go throwback with the guy snapping the ball on the helmet. And then you've also got some of the other throwbacks as well. I don't know if they have any red jerseys in here, but they have this one. Oh, they do have a red one. There you go. All blue. Okay, I'm pretty sure the home is all blue, so that's easy enough. And then for Denver, we can't really have them wear blue. That'd be weird. We can have them wear orange. We can also have them wear their throwbacks. Not those. Yuck. Or those. Yuck. Do they not have an alternate classic? No, they do. Back here. Yeah, do we want to do Color Rush? Because they have the throwback helmet and all orange. That looks pretty cool. Orange, orange. Everybody wants orange. Okay. Orange it is. All orange versus all blue. So as I said, the winner of this game clinches their division no matter what. The losing team can still clinch. Oh, wow, it's raining. That's fun. We finally have different weather. Both of these teams clinched the playoffs last week, so which team will be the first one in the AFC to officially wrap up their division race for good? And along with these two teams, the Bengals and the Texans can also clinch their divisions as well this week. Denver is red hot. They've won, I think, 8 in a row, while New England just lost with Josh Allen throwing 4 interceptions. Both of these teams look like legitimate OFL Bowl contenders. Right now, it seems like the AFC is a clear top 4, basically all the 4 division leaders. So there's a real shot that one of these teams could make a big run in the playoffs, or even both. I'm rooting for Denver. I hate New England that much. If I was in your situation and it was Green Bay, I would root against them too, probably, so I don't blame you. Here's Lap Dance Lance. He signed a huge extension during the in-season re-signings phase. Having a pretty good season. I wouldn't say he's lighting the world on fire, but he's been solid, and obviously the team is winning with him, that's for sure. So he's doing something right. I think we've watched Denver once and New England, I want to say twice, but we haven't watched these teams since early in the year. So it'll be interesting to see how much, especially Denver, has changed, because Denver obviously has won a lot of games recently. Little Josh should be thankful his team doesn't play Mexico City. Why? Does your team play Mexico City? His quarterback is... Oh! Myles Garrett and Mason Rudolph. I don't know why I didn't figure that out originally. I should have figured. That would have made the most sense. Third and 6. Can Denver keep the drive going? Nope. I think it's fair to say scheme fit and scheme matter. Especially offensively, yeah. Defensively, I think it more so matters of like what type of personnel you want to run. I don't know if there are any like specific playbooks that are better than other ones, as long as it matches your defensive personnel. I don't really think the playbook itself matters all that much. And then offensively, obviously, certain playbooks are better than others in terms of throwing the ball, in terms of running the ball. I don't know how much they affect winning, per se. Like, with my playbook, it's a pass-friendly playbook. Matt Corral's playing really well. The receivers are all playing really well. I don't know if it's affecting us winning or if it's just affecting the numbers, but obviously it's working, so I'm not complaining. That should have been intercepted. I guess with the rain, it's a little bit harder to catch the ball. Along with New England, we also get a look at Travis Etienne, who is an Offensive Player of the Year candidate for really no reason, but he is an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. The Cougars' quarterback is Derek Carr. They signed him off of the waivers. The Cougars were on a losing streak, but it still seems like Russ was playing well. So, I don't know how much longer he had on his contract. I know it was cheap because he was not a very high fantasy draft pick. But it seemed like he was playing well. I simmed a lot before the league with Ritter in the Tampa Bay offense, and he led the league in yards 2 of 3 years. Before last week, he was leading. That Bucs playbook, it's one of a kind. He was up for a contract this year. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. I still would have stuck it out with Russ because he seemed to be playing well, but I guess with the contract stuff, it's not horrible. Am I late? I mean, there's no such thing as being late as long as you come in, then I appreciate it. But we did start half an hour ago, so I guess by definition you would be, but all that matters is that you're here with us now. Even when the Cougars aren't in the Big Apple anymore, we still work together. I guess so. And you guys are lucky because now you have the stadium to yourself, so only one team has to use the horrible grass each week, or horrible turf. Looks like New England's starting to move it down the field. I was watching your Knicks franchise. Well, that's a good reason to be late. I appreciate it. How am I doing? I'm doing good. MetLife Stadium is still on the block. I don't blame you. Our streak is over. You said that like after we simmed, even though you won. So I don't know what streak is over, but it's not your win streak. Put it that way. Can you tell the Guardians to play a complete game of baseball for once, please? I mean, I'm going to try. But, yeah, neither us or Seattle wants to play a complete game at all. I asked earlier, but I had to go, did you update the playbooks? Yeah, schemes and all that, they are all up to date. Shout out to Octi, who has been giving me advice on my streaming career. Well, good for you for getting started, and obviously if anyone needs advice, I'm happy to help. Either we score a lot and allow a lot, or we score a little and allow a little. Kind of like the Browns last year, which was mainly scoring a lot and allowing a lot. One of the Bosa's is in the zone. That's a touchdown for Hopkins, but that looked like an illegal touching. I think he was out of bounds. That might not have been Hopkins, but somebody caught a touchdown, but that's an illegal touching. So this one's going to come back. People within the Patriots organization, Robert Kraft, know a thing or two about illegal touching. Did I say Hopkins is on New England? I thought it was him for a second. I think that might have been Parker Washington. Will the Giants go to the Super Bowl next season? No. If they paid Daniel Jones $45 million, then my answer turns into especially no. Darnell Washington, I think he is on New England. So that would make sense. I know a thing about legal touching. Advice on shaving your balls. Have fun with it. So New England tacks on 3. They're on the board. It is Darnell. Okay. Good to know. $45 million a year for a below-average quarterback is crazy. I mean, Daniel Jones played obviously really well in the first playoff game. And, I mean, first of all, I don't blame him for trying to get his bag. Secondly, he's a young quarterback who showed signs of improvement with a competent coach. So I don't think investing a lot of money into him is a terrible idea. 45 is a bit much probably, but if the Giants gave him a bag, I would understand it. I don't know if I would completely agree with it, but I would understand it. They're going to tag Danny Dimes, and Saquon is coming to Chicago. I thought Saquon wanted to win, though. Patrick Mahomes' contract is a bargain, so I don't think that's a good, comparison. He's about average, 10 to 15. I don't know if I'd say 10, but maybe 15 range is probably the highest I would go. I think that's reasonable. Here's the playoff picture, of course. 3 teams have clinched wild card spots. One of these 2 teams here, New England or Denver, will clinch their division this week. Texans and Bengals can join them as well. That shot was unnecessary. It was unnecessary, but it's true. Yeah, when you sign a 10-year deal for a lot of money, it looks like a lot at first. But as that contract goes on, it's going to be even more of a bargain because the average annual value for quarterbacks is probably going to continue to go up. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, all might have $50 million per year deals, if not more. Deshaun Watson's contract is gigantic. Lamar Jackson's contract probably will be gigantic. So, especially at the end of that deal, assuming Mahomes is still really good, that contract's going to be even more of a bargain than it is right now. Yeah, if Daniel Jones gets that before Lamar, then Lamar is going to have more reason to want more money. Predict the Giants' record next season. I think they overperformed. So unless they make some big moves, which I think they had the ability to, they have a good amount of money, I believe. But if they, for the most part, run it back, I would expect them to be a little bit worse because they won some fluky games. They didn't necessarily play to their record for most of the year. The end of the year, they played really well, though. I'll give them that. Should I just give up being... Well, considering the Giants appear to have a bright future for the first time in like a decade... I would say now's a better time than ever to root for the Giants. The Steelers should invest their future into Mason Rudolph. That sounds like a genius idea. Daboll is in fact legit, and Joe Shane, the GM, doesn't seem too bad either. Although it was kind of funny seeing a lot of Gettleman's guys finally play well this year, or play really well. Which I guess partly probably has to do with the coaching. As Nick Bosa now has 2 sacks against Trey Lance. Interesting. I wonder why Nick Bosa's playing so well. Another Broncos defensive... Not every defensive game is a snooze fest. I love points as much as the next person, but it's not like it's bad offense, it's good defense and good pass rushing. Which I guess is what happens when you have Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, and Brian Burns going after the same quarterback. Yeah, leaving Nick Bosa unblocked, especially when he's in the zone, is a bold strategy. Maybe New England's thought process is like, we're not able to block this guy anyway, so we might as well just focus on the other guys so they don't get to the quarterback and hope that Josh Allen gets rid of it quickly. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Don't think Gettleman was bad with drafting. Yeah, he was obviously awful with free agency. But, I mean, if you look in hindsight at some of his recent drafts, I mean, Daniel Jones finally played pretty well. Dexter Lawrence looked like a legitimate, not just first-round pick, but a legitimate star this year. Gettleman's the one who drafted him. Not that drafting a running back at 2 is smart, but Saquon Barkley had his best year in a while, and Andrew Thomas finally played really, really well. Xavier McKinney played really well. That's not to say every one of his high picks, Kadarius Toney, worked out for the Giants, but a lot of them did this year. So Gettleman's built really good teams before. He was the GM in Carolina, I believe, when they had the Cam Newton runs. So he's done good in the past, but he just made a few too many really bad decisions that ultimately killed the Giants' future. Which I guess in hindsight didn't really kill their future because the new guys flipped it. Tony had it. I'm not saying Tony's bad. I'm saying it didn't work out with the Giants specifically. Gettleman was a Mitosaurus Rex. I guess that's one way to put it. Yeah, Julian Love is a good player for a 4th-round pick as well. And a team captain. So that's a bonus, I think. So most of his high draft picks were not all that bad. Obviously, for every good one, you're going to have a lot of bad ones. DeAndre Baker's another one that comes to my head, although that situation was just kind of unfortunate with him. Not so much on the field, although it's not like he played all that well to begin with. Remember loving Gettleman for giving us OBJ just for our coaching staff to misuse him and for him to hate you. How fun. Remember when Kevin Stefanski won the Coach of the Year? And going even farther back, remember when Matt Nagy did? The opinion on coaches can change so quickly. Like, I think Brian Daboll is going to be really good when it's all said and done, But hypothetically, in 2 years, if things don't work out for the Giants, he could be in the same conversation as those guys. I don't think he will, but it's possible. Yeah, he drafted Azeez Ojulari in the second round as well. KT is the most untouchable player. He is nasty with the ball in his hands. Just got to consistently get him the ball. Yeah, if DJ wants 45 a year, you don't give him the extension. But I also don't think the Giants can realistically let him go, because you're probably not going to get someone better than him. And along with him being young and improving, I feel like you have to go into this offseason with the mindset that he's the guy, because he showed that, he can be the guy. So a tag might be a good idea, just to make sure he actually is $45 million a year caliber for another year. Matt Nagy better than Kevin Stefanski. I really don't think Matt Nagy was that horrible. He wasn't good, but the Bears were a lot worse this year with him not coaching them. And obviously the Bears kind of let go of some veterans, started their rebuild. So that's part of it. But Matt Nagy led 2 playoff teams with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. I used to think Nagy was the problem ahead of Trubisky, and I thought Mitchell Trubisky was the one who was kind of underrated. But now, seeing how Mitchell played in Pittsburgh and how he's looked recently, I kind of changed my opinion there. So it's not that they made a bad decision with firing him, but he maybe wasn't the trash can that everybody else thinks. Bears should 3 Justin Fields. I agree. Get him out of my division, please. Nagy was with Kansas City this year, so he now has a ring. Mitch was the MVP. I guess that's true. He's the MVP. Can't beat that, can you? The Giants had both Jason Garrett. I remember that. They hired Freddie Kitchens, and they had Jason Garrett with a big role in the offense. That was fun. And wasn't that when they, early in the Joe Judge era, too? So he was in the building as well? What an elite coaching staff. No wonder they sucked. If the Bears trade Fields and they draft Stroud, that would be pretty stupid. But, I mean, the Bears are doing a recent history of, doing some things that are a little bit on the stupid side. So I don't think I would put it past them. Trey Lance has thrown 12 passes and he has 28 yards. That's not good. Trey Lance does not look very impressive. Who's my favorite NFL team? I had the pleasure of rooting for the Lions. Draft what today? Draft these nuts. 2-minute warning. Can New England score a touchdown here before the end of the half? I don't remember who started with the ball. I think it might have been Denver. I'm disliking the video now. Okay, do it. I don't care. Oh, it's intercepted! And they might take this for a long return all the way. So we do have a touchdown on this drive, but it's not by New England. Instead, it's by Christian Fulton. Hell with the Lions. They beat my Giants. No, we demolished the Giants is what you meant to say. That was a fun game. That was enjoyable. I hope Lovey gets a job. So he just hasn't gotten a job anywhere since he was fired? Lions barely beat us, but we did beat you. That was also a fun game. That was a more stressful game because for a while it looked like we were going to lose, but Daniel Jones really got a bag for beating the Vikings. To his credit, he played really well in that game. Now, against him, you can also make the argument that it's pretty easy to play really well against the Vikings defense, which is completely fair. But it still says something for a quarterback to play that well on the road in the playoffs against a good home team. Join DC tonight so I can repeatedly throw you out of it. Maybe I can just take away your roles. What about that? The Vikings might as well have me at corner. Exactly. So Denver's going to get the ball back. They're winning, not thanks to their offense, but they are winning. Kevin O'Connell or Mike Zimmer? I feel like the easy answer would be O'Connell because they were a lot better with him, and it seemed like players didn't really like Mike Zimmer. Zimmer wasn't that bad, though. He was solid. He wasn't good, but he wasn't bad. I mean, I guess I would choose O'Connell based on, like, what he could be, although the Vikings were not all that great. Really the entire season, especially the last couple of months. And obviously in the playoffs they wet the bed. Yeah, I didn't even think of the wide receiver thing for Daniel Jones. He also gets a little credit because their wide receivers suck. Speaking of wide receivers, Stephon Gilmore's hands in watch games are that of wide receivers as he gets an interception. And both offenses continue to play terribly. I don't know if I should be encouraged that these are the other AFC contenders along with my team or discouraged. Because both defenses look really good, but on the other hand, both offenses look bad. So, should I be feeling good? Gilmore scars you. I don't blame you. I'd be scarred too. We need to just send it. This is literally a good game. I understand both offenses are playing poorly, but it's not because of the offenses, it's more so because of how good the defenses have been. As both of the Bosas get a sack. That's got to be like a hate crime or something. New England's probably going to try to lob up a Hail Mary with 5 seconds left on the clock. Josh Allen has the arm to get it there, although I would hope any NFL quarterback, or in this case, OFL quarterback. Oh, they're kicking! Okay. Yeah, I guess this is fine. 60-yarder. In the rain, and it is no good. So now the Broncos are probably going to lob up the Hail Mary instead. I think Trey Lance should be able to get it there as well because he's got an arm. Yeah, they have it at the 50. I don't think he got it there. Why did he throw it 20 yards short? That was stupid. So that's going to wrap up the first half. It has been an ugly one here in New England. Both defenses are playing really well. Both offenses are stinking up the bed. Denver has 45 yards today. This does not look like an offense, at least, who's on an 8-game win streak. So the Texans and the Bengals and the other AFC contenders, at least, their defenses are probably enjoying this. Should I drink a whole container of body wash? I don't know. Should you? How did we allow 30 points to the Broncos? At this point, I don't know. If the Giants miss the playoffs, I will start rooting for the Lions. W then. That should have been... These quarterbacks look terrible. At least Josh Allen's had some good plays, but even so. Both teams have had multiple dropped interceptions, along with the few that they've gotten today as well. If you do, I'll get to be a GM. Put it that way. There you go, little Joe. If you want Kevin to be a GM, you know what to do. So the Broncos are going to get the ball back. They're winning, even though their offense has 0 points today. How many times can you say that? The team is winning and the offense hasn't scored. Who's better, Love or McKinney? I guess probably McKinney, although both of them are good young starting safeties. Who was he throwing it to there? That was overthrown by 10 yards to somebody who was in double coverage. Who let them cook? There's a good throw. There you go, Trey. He completed a pass. A good pass as well, nonetheless. But yeah, this does not look like a guy who just signed an $150 million extension or however much money it was. Even though he did just sign an $150 million extension. Is Wilson good and just not using his... Wilson isn't Zach Wilson? He's bad. He sucks. How did that pass work? That should have been intercepted again. Trey Lance threw that right to the defender. Yeah, Van Der Esch should have made a play. I think that's Van Der Esch. I don't know what he's doing, but he should have made a play. I'm used to seeing the Ravens offense, the Ravens leading the offense, contribute to nothing, so I'm used to it. There you go. Does Wilson have a chance with your mom? More so, is your mom interested? That's the better question. Denver's on the goal line. Is their offense finally going to score? Yes, they will. Trey Lance does a good job of evading pressure and walks into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Denver Broncos have scored points on the offensive side of the ball today. They've done it. There's a reason why Zach Wilson is not going to be the Jets starting quarterback next year. There you go. Zach Wilson should be a Cougar. Absolutely. We need Zach Wilson to start a game for the Cougars at some point in OFL 23. If he does, I promise we will watch it. No matter what. We need to see that. That's cinema. What's good, Candy? Welcome in. How you doing? So New England's got to show up now. I think their offense has done a better job of moving the ball than Denver, but Denver's up by 8. So well, there's a play. Nearly worked. Braden Smith is hurt. That's kind of a big-ish deal. Me and my friends pick every team's record, and we predict Super Bowl MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, etc. Yeah, we should have like an awards prediction thing. That'd be fun. I don't know how bad I would have done this year, but I know I would have gotten both of the Rookie of the Years right in the NFL, so I could have patted myself on the back for that. Six for 16 yards. That's your Offensive Player of the Year favorite. We'll put it this way. We're going to pick our own candidates and not who Madden wants to suck off. What's the Giants' record in Madden? Well, in this league, the Giants were Thanos snapped off the face of the earth. They won the championship in the sim year, and they moved to Chicago to become the Cougars. So, in the Giants' only season of OFL 23, they won the championship. Not bad. correctly predicted the MVP run. Well, at least he did it correctly. I had the Broncos winning 14 games. Well, they're what, 11-3? So if they keep their win streak going, then 14 would be spot on for these Broncos. Unless you mean the real life Broncos, then ouch. Although I thought Denver was going to be good too this year, and I would assume a lot of people did. I think I still probably had the Chiefs winning the division, but I thought all four of those teams were going to be really good. I thought the Raiders had a chance to be better than they were last year. And I figured the Chargers would probably be good, which I guess I was right about that. No, real life. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I did promise you're not alone. Adam Gase is technically an OFL Bowl winning head coach. Yeah, you're right, because the Jets won the sim year in 21 against, ironically, the Giants. So Adam Gase is an OFL Bowl. Yeah, Adam Gase beat Joe Judge in an OFL Bowl. That's like frightening to think that they both made it. And then I think the Giants moved there too. Nice touchdown. Travis Etienne, Offensive Player of the Year favorite. There he is. I predicted the Texans record exactly, tie and all. That's impressive. Let's say you don't have any surefire starters at any position and the Bengals get the #1 pick in the draft. So if I don't have any, nice 2-point conversion. So if I have no surefire start, so basically the Texans a year ago, I would probably pick the best player available, regardless of position. The battle of Trash Gase and Trash Judge. Adam Gase can win the OFL Bowl, but I can only make it to the conference championship once in my 19 seasons. 19 whole seasons. That's a lot. Holy cow. And one conference championship game. And a lot of heartbreaking divisional losses. So now that New England's tied it up, we'll see if Denver can look to take the lead. Predict the Chiefs' record if they had these players. Well, the Chiefs already won 14 games, so I don't know who these players are, but probably pretty good because they're the Chiefs. R.J. Hampton to the Pistons? Whoa! I know he was cut. That's honestly a good signing. Good work, Troy. Nice. We did have an extra roster spot because of the trades. We gave up 2 players and we got 1, so I guess it makes sense. And I kind of figured there'd be more to the James Wiseman trade because we had that extra roster spot. Obviously, there never was, and I guess we waited until somebody like R.J. Hampton would be available. That's fun. Not that he's any good, but yeah, why not take a flyer on a young guy? Good stuff, Troy. Fumble. Nobody wants to pick it up. Denver does, but they're going to lose 20 yards. They might lose more. We got to see what the flag is. It's a hold. So I guess New England's going to decline it. Yeah, probably. I would assume they would rather a 2nd and 27. That Hail Mary still grinds my gears. That Hail Mary is still a very positive OFL memory for me. I thought the AFC West was going to... Yeah, exactly. I thought the AFC West was supposed to be loaded. I thought they had 4 of arguably the 10 best teams in the league. And instead, 2 of them were awful. Which I guess that's part of being in a good division. But even so, the Broncos and Raiders could have been in an easy division. They still would have sucked. I guess that's the Josh McDaniels effect. I still thought they would do good in spite of him. I was never a fan of them hiring him, but I thought their team was good enough to overcome that. Which I guess obviously was not the case. I correctly predicted Greg Roman sucking. I remember when I really wanted Greg Roman to be our coach. Once I was on the fire Patricia train, I was high on him, and then 2020 happened, and then I was like, maybe not. Josh Allen is in the zone. Why? He had one good drive. I guess that throw to ETN was pretty nice. Third and 4, good throw. Their defense is awful, McDaniels is bad, and the Raiders are the Raiders, so that probably helps too. It is already the fourth quarter, yeah. Who was he throwing it to? Now a 3rd and 9. Maybe the biggest play of the game so far. Should have been intercepted. Needed a little bit more loft on that pass. Raiders will be good when Al Davis comes back. Or maybe when Mark Davis gets a barber. That haircut will never not be funny. Can Lap Dance Lance lead Denver down the field to not just take the lead, but possibly win the division? Didn't Mark shave his hair? I think that was a Photoshop. I don't think he actually did, because I saw that too. But I'm pretty sure that was fake. Maybe it was real, but I'm pretty sure it was fake. If the Chiefs had those players, probably pretty good. I mean, the Bears' offensive line doesn't help, but those skill position players are pretty good. I would almost rather the team that the Chiefs currently have. I would almost rather the elite offensive line and pretty good skill position players, because a great quarterback can make good skill position players really good. But you can't make an offensive line really good, for the most part. So I would almost say the real-life Chiefs are probably better. Your group chat was dying at my Brandon Miller joke today. I was proud of that one. Now we can stop with the Jabari Smith comparisons. I think that haircut is real. Oh, man, it is real? Well, haircut, can you really call it a haircut? Because he's now bald and he doesn't have hair? I mean, I guess so, because he cut the hair off. So, yeah, I guess you can call it a haircut. I ran into a wall 4 times in a row by accident. How does one do that? I'm concerned. 2-minute warning. 14-14. The Broncos are in field goal range, though. Can Denver manage the clock well and clinch their division? Raiders really had a guy who led them through arguably the most dramatic season in NFL history to the playoffs and hired Josh McDaniels instead. Yeah, obviously in hindsight they should have chose Bisaccia. I would understand if they would want their own guy who's like good, but Josh McDaniels isn't good. So that obviously in hindsight was a major mistake. Just checked and he did cut all of his hair off. That's unfortunate because now I can't laugh every time I see him. Now it's just like I'm looking at a giant egg. New England's calling their timeouts. They only have 1 left. So unless Denver gets a first down, New England's probably going to have a little bit of time. But not much. He's the egg that fell off the wall. He's Humpty Dumpty. And his moves within the organization have been pretty dumpty, too. 3rd and 4. New England gets the stop. So Denver's going to kick. New England's probably going to have time for one Hail Mary, presumably. I guess if anybody's going to be able to get it to the end zone from like the 25, it's going to be Josh Allen. I don't know if he's still in the zone or not, but if he is, that would be helpful because I would assume he has bazooka. Kick is good for Denver, and they lead by 3. As an NBA owner, are you hiring Udoka? Probably not. He is a good coach, obviously, but I would just try to steer clear from that if I was an owner. Although I would understand the reason for yes, being that he knows how to coach basketball. But I don't know, I feel like that could be a distraction. Not so much what he did, but sort of like the whole aura around him now. Etienne has to get out of bounds. What is he doing? Offensive Player of the Year candidate, my rear end. Get out of bounds, stupid. So New England's not even going to have time to run a Hail Mary, and that's going to end the game. The Broncos clinch the NFC West. And New England can still clinch the East if the Bills lose this week. And even if the Bills win, New England probably will still win the division later. But yeah, this was ugly. Both offenses were not very good. Honestly, New England was a little bit better, but the pick 6 from Denver kind of put them over the edge. Etienne was good in the pass game, at least. Nick Bosa, 2.5 sacks. Why did Josh check it down? I think that was a bad decision, but Etienne, I think it looked like he had open room to get out of bounds. So he should have. Although they should have ran a Hail Mary. That was a bad play call and a bad decision by Josh Allen. Am I still streaming this? Yes. Did the stream end? Alright, time to sim week 16. Oh, am I still gonna stream? Yeah, we're going through week 17 as well. Alright, let's see what happened around the rest of the league, starting with the Chargers. Their tank continues as they get smothered by the Steelers. SGA or D-Book? SGA's been better this year, but D-Book's also been the number 1 option on a finals team. I would probably say SGA, but I would understand if someone picked Devin Booker. I wouldn't completely disagree. But if I had to pick, I would pick SGA. Joe Burrow balled out. Wow. And Justin Herbert continues to be very average. He has been disappointing this year. The Colts, they kind of need to win if they want to stay alive, and they do win. They beat the Orbits 30-24. Lakers going to win the Super Bowl next season. Big brain. Kirk Cousins was Malik Willis was also Justin Jefferson was good. George Kittle caught 10 balls. So the Colts and the Orbits are now tied, I believe, at 7 and 8. Both of them are still long shots. The Commanders beat the Golden Eagles. I believe it's now official. Washington clinches the NFC East. They're going to the playoffs. Anyone on the brink of being dropped for inactivity? Not currently. We haven't really talked about that. But once we get into the playoffs and the offseason, we might start to figure that out. And, of course, as you know, you are number 1 on the waiting list. Najee Harris played well. Noah Fant this time had a big game, as did Greg. Well, I guess not really a big game for Greg Dortch, but he led the team in receiving. So I guess that's something. 2.5 sacks for Max Crosby. The Cougars, they win! They won a football game. They beat the Bills 42-35. Whoa, hello, Derek Carr. Wow. I hope you don't... No, you're good, Troy. Don't worry. You're good. You wouldn't be someone I would considering dropping. Zeke ran for 200. And still lost. Tyrese Halliburton or Darius Garland? I would still pick Garland. Halliburton's obviously fantastic, and he's probably been a little better this year, but I would pick Garland. What incentives besides money could the NBA add to All-Star Weekend to make players care more like MLB? I think part of MLB is like it's kind of hard to not try in baseball. You either try or you I guess you completely don't. Whereas in the NBA, you can just like not try defensively and let the other players get easy baskets. So I think it's easier in basketball to not try. Hello, Kenny Galladay. But other than money, I don't know what else players really want. I mean, hopefully the NBA thinks of something, because All-Star Weekend's supposed to be fun and not, like, a boring All-Star game. 32-31, the Dreadnought, not the Dreadnought. I get the long D pause teams messed up. Kyler Murray played well. Mercy Mercado not so much. So pretty much any long shot the Explorers had of making the playoffs, I think they're probably still like mathematically not eliminated, but they're probably not going to get in. I learned how boring basketball is when no one plays defense. Hence why the All-Star game with no defense is not the most exciting. The Panthers beat the Dreadnoughts, so I believe they're tied, or Carolina passed them. I think they're tied now, and then the Golden Eagles are still a game back. The MLB used to have the winning conference gets home field, but they changed that like 5 or 6 years ago. So now it's just the winner of the All-Star game wins. And the team with the better record gets home field. Or the higher seed, I guess, but pretty much the better record. The Eagles lose to the Rams 31-33. Nice win for the Rams. They're closer to clinching their division. Actually, I think they do clinch the division because Seattle lost. So if I'm right, the Rams should have clinched the NFC West. They're going to the playoffs. The Rockets are horrible at basketball. That's very true. They are horrible. The Niners won again. What is happening? The Niners have won 2 in a row after winning one game since week 1. And both of them were blowouts against not horrible teams. This one's on the road. The Rockets are worse than the Pistons. I don't know if I'd say by a lot. I think we are probably better than the Rockets, especially when healthy. But we are really, really bad. The Rockets are just really, really bad too. But yeah, I would rather be the Pistons than the Rockets. Although the Rockets do have all those Brooklyn picks. But I also think the Pistons have a slightly better core in place already. And that could change depending on the draft lottery. But I think we're in a better spot than they are. Although both teams do have not so great coaches, put it that way. Oh, we already saw this game. The Jets. The Jets beat the Raiders. What is happening? Why are all these bad teams winning? Deciding something as important as home field advantage in the World Series and the All-Star game, which has no player take that much seriously, is stupid. I guess in the NBA, if they were to add that, players would take it more seriously, but like, what about someone on a bad team? Like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Who had an All-Star on a really bad team who's not going to win? I don't want to say the Thunder because they're not bad, but realistically they're probably not going to make the finals. So would a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for example, have the same incentive now that he would if that rule was implemented? Dame, I guess, is another good example as well. The Blazers are probably a little bit worse, although maybe they also have a little better of a chance than the Thunder to make a playoff run because they have more high-end talent. Halliburton, too, although the Pacers are probably going to at least get one of those high play-in spots. But I guess he would also be another example. But where's the Giants? The Giants moved. They were the Cougars. So now that the Lions are 2 games worse than everybody, I don't think they've officially clinched the number 1 pick, but they pretty much do. The Monarchs win again. They beat the Snowhawks, looking to get maybe that number 1 seed in the NFC. Did they make the play? The Giants in their first year won the OFL Bowl, and then they didn't exist. So they did make the playoffs last year. But not this year because they're not here. The Nighthawks lost. Rough day for them so far. The Oilers lose to the Texans 21-7. A lot of offense in this game, that's for sure. Like, imagine LeBron staring at you in the All-Star Game huddle because you're 2 for 15 from 3. Yeah, imagine you just have one guy going for the MVP, and then LeBron's like, we got to win this. I'm trying to get my home court. It's not like we're 12th in the West or anything. No, totally not. The Orbits lost. We saw that. The Panthers have won 5 in a row, and they've beaten, I was going to say good teams, but they didn't beat good teams up until today. And they have beaten 2 good teams today. The Patriots obviously lost. The Raiders somehow lost. The Rams won. The Ravens beat the Titans in a late-season tank bowl, 14-6. The Bailey Zappi thing was fun while it lasted, but yeah, he's kind of bad now. That was a fun few weeks. Even Derrick Henry wasn't good. Laramie Tunsil allowed 3 sacks. Oh boy. That's not 3. I did not read that right. That's 2. Okay. My TV is far away from my desk. That's why I saw it wrong. I promise I'm not blind. Seattle. Did we see them already? Yeah, we did. They lost to Dallas. The Cincinnati Bengals clinched the AFC North. We beat the Steamers 28-45. Last week it was our defense. This week it was our offense with 406 passing yards. Hello, Matty C. He did have a worse passer rating than Tom Brady, though, and he got out-sacked. Of course. Whoa, Woj bomb. Woj bomb. What? What's the Woj bomb? Should I be scared? The defenses should be scared of Joe Mixon because he scored twice. Nate McMillan fired. Wow. Yeah, it probably was time for them to get some new blood in there. Jalen Petrie with another interception. Can he stop trying to make himself money? He doesn't want to come back anyway. Now he's just going to... I already offered him a 7-year, very player-friendly deal, and he said no. Now he's just going to have a reason to ask for more money. All right, I think we've gone through everybody, right? We usered the Broncos. So, yeah. Hey, guys, welcome in, Danny. I have some good news for you. Let me show you real quick, then we'll do Players of the Week. But, look at this. 2-0. Should I get this D. Mitch jersey? $79.99 for a jersey? That's a bargain. Yes. Buy it now before the price goes up. That's a good deal. Players of the Week, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, Micah Hyde, and Cam Dantzler had 3 picks? Holy moly. He already had a lot to begin with. Hold on. 3 interceptions? He already had at least 3 or 4. Holy smokes. He has 8. That's like Defensive Player of the Year type stuff. Oh my word. That's pretty impressive. Since we don't have the other counting stats for corners, I guess interceptions is end-all be-all, and Cam Dantzler is pretty good. So we have a lot more teams clinching today. The Texans clinch their division. The Broncos clinch their division. The Commanders clinch their division. The Patriots clinch their division because the Bills lost. The Bengals clinch the division, and the Rams clinch the division. So 7 teams have clinched playoff spots, and they've all won their division. So officially, the NFC South is the only division up for grabs with 2 weeks left to go. As for the wild card race, the Steelers and Steamers are still in it. Steelers have the upper edge. The Oilers and Colts are still in the wild card race for the AFC. Oilers have the edge. Bills and Orbits are still in. Bills have the edge. Raiders still in the AFC. So there's 4, 8, and 7 teams in the AFC. And then the 7 and 8 squad still have a shot too. As for the NFC, the Vikings starting to play a little bit better, still in the wild card race. The NFC South is a 3-way gauntlet. The Dreadnoughts and Panthers tied for first. The Commanders obviously clinched the East. The Cougars and Eagles still in the race. Dallas, I guess they're not out, but they probably need a miracle. And then Seattle needs a lot as well, as do the Nighthawks. We'll show team stats after next week at the end. Here is the current playoff picture. 1 seeds are the same. the top 4 seeds in each conference are the same. Actually, I think pretty much everything is the same. A little movement in the NFC. Cougars go up to 6. Golden Eagles are now 7. The Steelers are now 7 in the AFC, but not a whole lot of changes from last week. But I think a team of 10-year-olds can beat the Bears. How big are the 10-year-olds? I didn't see them last. Well, I'll show them at the end today with the other team stats. So that brings us into Week 17, the final week of the day, which we are watching. What game are we watching again? I think the Texans game, right? Yeah, the Texans and the Dreadnoughts. That's right. The Texans just clinched their division. The Dreads probably clinch a playoff spot with a win, and they get closer to clinching their division. Siri, give me a number between 399 and 400. 399. I think the Texans are the road team. So we'll user them. Houston's playing for seeding, while the Dreadnoughts are obviously playing for an opportunity to win their division and clinch the playoffs. My other controller died, that's why it didn't show up, so we'll have to pick the Dreadnoughts jerseys quickly. What are the Dreadnoughts combos? Do they have blue pants? Yeah, I think all blue versus all red is probably the mood. Or probably the way to go. That's the wrong one. It's the alternate. Yeah. That one. And home pants. Okay, those are the home pants. The Giants are technically the Cougars, yes. They are our version of the Giants. Bloods versus Crips again. Two more weeks left to go in the regular season. Most of the divisions have already wrapped up, minus the NFC South, with these Dreadnoughts are currently in first place. Jalen Hurts is quietly putting up MVP numbers. Whereas the Texans at this point are playing for seeding along with the other 4 AFC divisional champs. And it's a playoff preview for both of these teams because they get to play against good opponents. One day I will get the jersey. Was that not the jersey combo that you wanted? I thought it was all red and home pants. Right? Did I read it wrong? Well, I guess hopefully I'll get it right in the playoffs. Since obviously you guys will be there. Oh, was I supposed to do red pants? I thought the home pants were white though. Or at least that's what it said. Sometimes Madden is slow with some of the jersey stuff. Sometimes when I scroll, Madden's one thing behind, so that might have been the reason. But yeah, we can save it for the playoffs. Gotta go bully my little brother. Okay, well you have fun with that, but not too much fun. Oh, the red, blue, white. Oh, the Color Rush tops are blue. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Baseball jerseys all jerseys are pretty expensive. Third and 8. Hurts heaves one up and it is caught. Did he just target Tre'Davious White too? Gain of 37. I think that's Damian Harris. Number 37 with a game of 37. Even with a 65% code, it's like $95. Jeez. Ohtani jersey is $140. Yeah, baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, football jerseys, they go for so much. I hope Hurts' team gets massacred. Okay. Well, Hurts' team is pretty good, but they're also playing against another pretty good team. Third and inches. They do have a power runner. Damian Harris is probably a power back. Or at least that's probably what his scheme fit is. If not, his power ratings are probably pretty high. And he doesn't get it. I thought he definitely got that. Huh, okay. Well, I guess not. Mason Rudolph saving the Jets would be wild. I don't think I'd get too excited yet. It is Mason Rudolph. He is a 60 overall. Do you think I can get into the playoffs at 9-8? With where the AFC wildcard is, probably 9-8 is good enough. You have 4 teams that are 8-7. So 9-8 is like probably on the fringe. It's like that probably would get you 7 or 8. So maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I think if you win both, you're probably good. Actually, you're definitely good because I think you're the 5 seed still. But if you win one, you're probably fine. Did the Cougars make the playoffs? I think they're currently the 6th seed, but they haven't clinched. Because prior to last week, they've been selling for the last month. So now we get to see the Texans offense, Lamar Jackson and company. Lamar Jackson, another MVP candidate. 2 MVP quality quarterbacks. Yeah, the NFL is like 140 for a jersey. That sounds about right. Are the Texans good? They are currently, I believe, the number 1 seed in the AFC. So, yes, they are pretty good. Trey Pipkins is on the field. Somebody probably got injured. Or maybe got injured in one of the first 2 weeks. Because other than that, who would want Trey Pipkins on the field? I only paid $55. How cheap? Where are you getting these jerseys? How are they so cheap? $55? That's like... Was it like a good quality jersey? Because a few years ago I ordered this like carry-on rip-off jersey from like some random website because it was cheaper and it wasn't as good quality as like the jerseys you find on NFL.com. Am I still doubting Mason Rudolph? Yes, it's been 2 games. 2 good games, but 2 games. Who's the bottom end on the screen? That would be Von Miller. So good luck with that. Because Von Miller can probably break the sack record today. I got it from Fanatics. Okay, good to know. Because when I shop for stuff, I usually just use like the league websites. Ooh, that could have been a pick 6 if he held on. And then I love how they do the exact same play. A quick out to the left side. And it didn't work again because he was out of bounds as he caught it. 3rd and 10, Lamar for the end zone. That is caught! Marquez Valdez-Scantling using his size to his advantage. Mossing the corner. Again, kids, this is why big wide receivers are really good in watch games. Although the corner didn't even try to jump. So maybe that wasn't so much a moss, but more so a lack of effort by the corner. But still, a touchdown is a touchdown nonetheless. You didn't do... I did Players of the Week for both weeks. I think. Because the first week, I remember Brandon Ayuk won it, even though he lost. And then I'm pretty sure I did it this week, too. I don't remember who won off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure I did it. The DG... Yeah, originally for $74 is a steal in itself, but down to $52? That is a good deal. Here's the NFC playoff picture. The Monarchs can clinch the number 1 seed with a win, and they can rest all their guys in Week 18 if they want to. The Dreadnoughts obviously in 4th. It would take a lot for them to not get in, but it is possible. I bet LeBron will play until he's 60. I bet you're wrong. Although I guess at LeBron's current pace, it wouldn't be the most outlandish thing, but I'm going to assume he doesn't last until 60. Draymond Jones is hurt. That's somewhat of a big deal. He's probably, I'm pretty sure he starts for them. Wow, another receiver makes a big play on Tre'Davious White. Not a very good start for White so far. This time by Darius Slayton. I had this weird obsession with jerseys. I don't blame you. I've always wanted to start like a big jersey collection. I've always thought those were like super cool. It's just that they cost so much money. Oh my goodness, what a big catch again. There's a flag though. And it's going to be a hold. So that big play is going to be called back. Got the Garland jersey on NBAshop.com. So the NBA website, so it was originally $70-something on the league website. That's a good deal. I think he's going to play one season with Bronny, call it quits until Bryce gets drafted and maybe comes back. We got to make sure those two can actually make the league, though. I'm not convinced that a team is going to draft one of them just so they can play with LeBron. Obviously, if those two are good enough, and I kind of want to see those two become good enough to make the league because I think that'd be a really fun story. And obviously, both of them are obviously very talented players for their age, so it's certainly possible. Good run for Hurts. The Cougars are so good that they aren't on a losing streak. Well, yeah, they're on a one-game winning streak after losing 4 in a row. Like, if you have the 60th pick and you don't take Bronny, you're goofy. I mean, I guess if it's a guarantee that LeBron comes to your team, then yeah. And obviously, Bronny's pretty talented. He's a McDonald's All-American, and Bryce is huge as hell. At least in comparison to his brother. I'm trying my hardest not to be awkward on DC, and I'm failing miserably. Even just for jersey sales, true, that's right. Who wouldn't want James on the back of their jersey for their team? Six seven in general is big for anybody, but obviously especially a 15-year-old. And that receiver looked like he was about 6'7" on that catch. I think that's Kyle Pitts with an incredible touchdown to put the Dreadnoughts ahead. Y'all hear about that Spanish dude? That's kind of vague, but no. What Spanish dude? 6'9", 13-year-old. I saw a video the other day of like some French kid who was like 6'8" or 6'9" as like a 12-year-old. Pitts might be like 6'6". Yeah, he's big. He's a big boy. That dropped 55 and 3. Yeah, I think that's the person I saw. I think he might have been French, although I might be wrong. But, yeah, 55 and 33 is a stat line. For sure. So the Dreadnoughts are ahead 10-7. Unlike the last game, we've got a lot of offense here. And so we'll see if the Texans can respond and get the lead back. Not a bad start. Bold strategy to leave Christian Watson wide open. Victor Winbogo. There's another Victor? That'd be funny if that's the kid's name. We have another 7'5" Victor. That'd be funny. I was going to say, if that's true, that would have been funny. What's better than having one Victor terrorize the league? Having two of them. Give me Chet's averages. How many rebounds did he put up last year in college? I don't think it was like double digits. So we'll say 12 and 7.5. The Thunder have a lot more mouths to feed than they did in the past. And they're going to have another probably 3 good rookies. Oh, you were talking about Wembanyama. That would have been funny if there was a second Vic. Frank is bullying me in voice chat, and I love it. 1.5 blocks. Certainly, Chet will have a lot of blocks. Because he's got pretty long arms. Well, the Texans already have it at the 23. They're moving it. Another nice throw. The defender could have made a play, but instead they get it to the 4. Is that Watson? Yep, Christian Watson. What happened while I was gone? I don't know when you left, but I don't know if you saw the Kyle Pitts play. He had a very nice touchdown grab, and since then the Texans have marched down the field. Think we can beat the Commanders and Steelers, or will we? That is a pretty tough schedule. The Commanders obviously quite good, but that's a winnable game. And wow, we might have to watch the Bills and Steelers next week because both of them are 8 and 7. So that looks like it could be a very important game for the AFC playoff race. As Sean Tucker walks into the end zone, and I am pleased to say that Sean Tucker has put the Texans ahead. I shouldn't be pleased. I should be rooting against the Texans because of seeding. But it's also Sean Tucker, so I get to push the Sean Tucker agenda. So it's a win-win. Either we benefit with seeding and the Texans lose, or Sean Tucker does something good. And so it's now 14-10. Have we had a non-scoring drive so far today? This is such a contrary from the last game. And these are the exact same sliders. I didn't touch them. You ain't catching. We're only 1 game back. But you guys also beat us. So yeah, we're probably not catching up. Because we don't have if we had the tiebreaker, that'd be nice. But we're a game back and you guys have the tiebreaker. So yeah, I guess I can't expect to catch up. Brees Hall's going to have a 1K yards, and he missed, 3 or 4 games, so that's impressive. You have the tiebreaker over the Raiders, and that might prove to be a big deal, because there's a good shot you guys might finish with the same record. And a tiebreaker over the Steelers will be very helpful, along with any wins you can get down the stretch. What's the video today? Assuming I get the NCAA video up and done, it'll be the conference championships. And there have been some wild games, put it that way. I have a solo fantasy draft. I made Kenny Pickett the best tackling quarterback of all time. I don't think that's a good thing. Wouldn't that mean he's throwing a lot of turnovers? Or somebody on the offense is turning the ball over? Jalen Hurts is 10 for 10. Good Lord. You should probably need to pick him. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea to do that before you forget. Please tell me the Patriots are, ironically, the only AFC East team to not beat the Raiders. Well, they didn't. The Bills did. The Jets did. I don't know if the Orbits did. That would be funny if New England lost everybody in that division except for... Or if the Raiders lost everybody in that division except for the good team, not New England. I think our defense scores more than our offense. Does that mean your defense scores a lot, or does that mean the offense sucks balls? Yes. Good answer. Don't think the Orbits have played... So do they play each other in Week 18? If the Orbits win this week, that could be a major game. I mean, it's going to be a major game regardless, but especially if the Orbits win today. My defense has no heart. They have no dog in them. The Dreadnoughts defense also does not appear to have a dog in them. Minus Von Miller. If Ohio State loses to USC, it is time for that team to learn Chinese. Jalen Hurts just threw his first incompletion a couple plays ago. It took almost a whole half. Now a 3rd and 4. Nice play by Tre'Davious White. Jalen Hurts has been picking on Trey White today, but this time White makes a play. I'm good for a couple pick sixes, but also a couple pick sixes back. Except for when Kenny Pickett is showing off his inner Ray Lewis. So the Texans hold on to their lead with only allowing a field goal, and they'll get the ball back. Which under-the-radar quarterback is going to be elite this OFL? What under-the-radar quarterback has been elite this year? That's a good question. I am here now. Hello, Hobie. Welcome in. Your team is playing pretty well on offense, at least. Trailing by 1. The defense, not so much, but Jalen Hurts looks good. Orbits played the Raiders week 1. The Raiders were kind of bad in the beginning of the year, so I would not be surprised if the Orbits won. Although I don't remember. What team is Patrick Mahomes on? He is on the Seahawks. And Seattle's probably not going to make the playoffs. So we might not have Mahomes in the postseason. So now that Mahomes is not going to make it, Matt Corral is going to be the best quarterback in the playoffs. No bias there at all. Christian Watson has nearly 100 yards already. Goodness, I knew he was doing good. I didn't know he was doing that good. I'm going to the elite. Maybe I shouldn't say that when Nick decides. He has all the power in his hands. Mahomes is going to miss his first. I don't know if the Seahawks made it into sim year. So if they didn't, this would be his second. Trevor Lawrence would rather throw pick. I mean, Trevor Lawrence hasn't been that bad. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. But other than the picks, he's been solid enough. Clock is ticking. You got 30 seconds and a timeout. Risky throw. They might have to use their last one here unless they get back quick enough. Or just run no huddle and then call the timeout. Okay, that works too. I assume they're probably just going to kick. They should just kick. Lamar was in the zone too, so he'll probably start the second half in the zone as the Texans make the field goal. Mahomes is on the Seahawks. Portland has Zach Wilson. So there's a more clear reason on why they're bad. Whereas Seattle has a lot of talent on their roster, and they've traded away a large majority of their draft picks. Including for Frank Jones, who does not have a sack against any offensive lineman other than Quentin Nelson. Which I think even I could get a sack off of Quentin Nelson. And that wraps up the first half. I think we have... The first game was 17-14, and this game is 17-13 at halftime. So... a lot more offense in this one, but Houston does seem to have the upper hand slightly. Why did the Packers and 49ers sell in the championship game? I don't know, but I don't mind it. I always enjoy seeing the Packers fall flat on their face in the playoffs every year. Except for this year, but their ending this year was also still quite satisfying. I have a gut feeling down the road Desmond Ritter's going to be in some MVP races. Honestly, I kind of agree. He already has superstar development. He's pretty high up in yards, so he could go up to X Factor. I would have to take a look at his numbers this year, but hell, you could almost make a case for him being in the conversation this season. The Raiders are not a very good team on paper because Troy has decided to tank. He has all those draft picks, but they're still good. So Desmond Ridder deserves a lot of credit for that. I love stealing jobs from Mormons. There you go. I don't know if Portland has their draft pick. I don't think they do. Because every bad team, it seems like, traded their draft pick away at the beginning of the season. And I said early in the year, a lot of you guys are going to regret this. Everyone thinks their team is going to be good when, well, not everybody's going to be good. Might have to look into trading for him. Would Troy want to trade him, though? He did just sign Desmond Ridder to a huge contract extension today. So that'd be a big cap penalty, and he is now making a lot of money. The Raiders have Portland's first, and they have another high pick, I think. I don't remember whose it is, but Portland's pick might be in the top 10 or even top 5. And the Raiders, since they're not going to need a quarterback, they can draft position players or trade them for stars. In fairness, Nick Chubb is worth it. I can't disagree. Nick Chubb is pretty good. My friend told me a few days ago he told an orphan to cry to his mom. Jeez, okay. Lamar is sacked. I don't know what gets him out of the zone. Not a sack, clearly, because he's still in it. No quarterbacks go in the top 5 because all the bad teams traded their picks. I mean, Detroit and Baltimore still have their picks. I assume Baltimore does. Husker has wanted to tank since the only team who actually wanted to be bad this year, so I would assume he still has it. They need one. The Lions need one. And we finally are going to have a punt today. It took us over one half. The good thing about the sliders is you can have games like this that are like really defense heavy and then really offense heavy with the same sliders. What a punt! Down at the 3. That's an all caps what a punt. Oh my word. I don't know who the Texans punter is, but that's a pretty good play. So now the Dreadnoughts have another opportunity, but the problem is they've got a lot of room to make up and not a lot of room behind them. The Texans should punt more with that kind of punter. I guess so, because clearly he's got a boot. Guess we know which teams are getting Caleb Williams and Drake May. What if they pick DJ Uiagalelei, though? What if Husker quietly is on the DJ Uiagalelei train with me? J.K. Scott. I don't know how good J.K. Scott's ratings are in this game. They used to be really good when he was super young. Now not so much. But that was a good kick at the 3. Put it that way. Spoiler alert, Caleb Williams and Drake May maybe 1 or 2, and not DJ and Bo Nix? Shouldn't those two be 1 and 2? No bias there at all. No, totally not. Or Kevin Shasha, or any of the other user quarterbacks as well. Or Quinn Ewers, and I think Shedeur Sanders, Nick said, is in that draft class as well. DJ and Bo Nix are late day 2 or early day 3. Okay, good to know. Good thing I've stocked up on 3rd and 4th round picks. You could probably get a haul for Danny's pick from a quarterback needy team, although Danny's pick hasn't increased in value today, but it still should be in the top 5. Maybe I won't have to trade up. Are you going to hop on the DJ Uiagalelei train with me? Gotta hope I don't pick him with one of my 3 second-round picks, though. Lamar has been in the zone the entire quarter, for what it's worth. Top 5 no, that's not a top 5 mistake in OFL history. There have been a lot worse. I put DJ in the late 1st? Good stuff, Nick. I appreciate that. Right where he belongs, late 1st round. Oh, you traded the pick for Osa Odighi. Okay, no, that is pretty bad. You're right. Never mind. I thought you got more than Osa Odighizuwa. Texans are getting pretty close. Sean Tucker's averaging 4 yards a carry. That's pretty good for what he's done this year. Although with that X factor, he should be able to develop and become good. I gave him a second as well. That's probably a late second, though. So a late second and Osa Odigizua for a top 5 pick. Not great. Not great. I mean, at least Osa Odigizua is young. As Sean Tucker is pleased to score his second touchdown of the game. And the Texans are now up by 2 possessions. Give Frank a season ranking. Like a generous C-. Back-to-back touchdown, 2 touchdown weeks. Sean Tucker finally coming into his own. Pause. FG had been getting screwed over by people for whatever reason. I decided to throw him a bone. Well, here's a piece of advice, okay? There are a lot of unlucky coaches in this league, particularly over the years. If you want to make yourself not one of those unlucky coaches, I wouldn't throw people a bone. But hey, we're learning. We're improving. Progress, not perfection. This is why Frank needs to take over the Niners and trade for himself. First rule of OFL, every man for himself. Exactly. Like, when I'm making a trade with someone, if it helps the other team, that's great, cool. But I'm trying to get the best trade for me. So, if you happen to be helping the other team, cool. But that should not. Your goal should not be to try to find a win-win trade. Your goal should be trying to find a good trade for your team. Whether it helps the other team or not is not your problem. Rookies make rookie mistake. That's true. That's a good point. I thought the Orbits quarterback was good. I mean, he's not horrible, but I don't know if I'd say he's good. He's not as good as the original Hector. I don't care about y'all's teams. I care about my team. Exactly. Why does Hurts have beef with Tre'Davious White? I don't know, but I mean, it worked early. Now Tre'Davious White is in the zone, so Hurts was winning the battle, but Trey White might be winning the war as he gets the tackle to end the drive here, unless the Dreadnoughts go for it, which I think it's a little bit early to do that. I'm just saying, I'm from Orlando. That's all I'm saying. Well, Bacher has plenty of draft picks this year, so name all of the first-round quarterbacks because one of them is going to be a Jet. Do I want DJ on the Jets? No, I want DJ on my team. A DJ Uiagalelei, Matt Corral quarterback room would be, like, glorious. You guys would not hear the end from me if I got both of them in one stuff. Von Miller setting pressure. Lamar gets rid of it. Even if Hobie is a coach, he does not have control of his player. Now that he's a coach, Travis Flight becomes like any other normal player. Hypothetically, if Hobie or any other user coach were to choose not to coach anymore, they would get control of their player back. But now that he is a coach, he does not have control of his player. So Travis Flight's like any other normal player. So he cannot control his contract, in other words. Or he can't request a trade, all that. But Travis Flight's contract doesn't end for a while since he's a rookie, so you don't really have to worry about that. Whopper, whopper, whopper. Why does everyone want me of all people? I don't think this is a big majority. I wouldn't worry about it. Hurts starts the drive off big, but it's incomplete. We were planning on him signing just a 7-year minimum to help the team. Well, since he won't have control of his player, he can't do that. So, doing work for my new series while I watch. Grind never stops. You know it. DJU, Bo Nix, Shadur Sanders, and maybe Quinn Ewers are in that sort of round 1 to round. So DJ is QB3 and Bo Nix is QB4. Are you sure I didn't make this draft class? Or hell, even I don't know if I would have those guys up there, other than because it's fun to see them good. Octi has Targaryen hair. I don't know what that is. But I guess so. I don't know what that is. Who plays for the Cougars? They have Josh Jacobs. They have Jair Alexander. Their quarterback was Russell Wilson. Now it's Derek Carr. And they've got a solid team. I wouldn't say great, but solid. It's OFL, and I want to make things fun. Well, that's a good way to look at it. And DJ Uiagalelei and Bo Nix both being good is fun. DC after stream, possibly. It seems like a lot of people are in there, so it seems like it'd be fun. 2nd and 10. There's a big sack. Rashawn Gary, who just signed a huge contract, brings down Jalen Hurts. If you want me to... No, we want fun. I want to see DJ be good again. Everyone thought he was so mid last year, but he won an OFL Bowl MVP, along with Matt Corral. So, just saying. Hurts takes a shot. It's caught. Again, he picks on Tre'Davious White, and it works. They're going to call it defensive pass interference. So this play is going to stand. Was it a touchdown, or was he at the 1? He was at the 1. Still a good play. Remember when Tre'Davious White was playing well in the second half? That clearly is not sticking. But the Texans' defense makes a big stand on the goal line, forcing a loss of 3. Would I pick Saquon, Tyreek Hill, or Mahomes? I would pick the guy who plays the super valuable position. So do with that what you will. Hendon Hooker is on the Cougars. So there's another Cougars player. Hendon Hooker. He's their backup. Shicey's trying to make me say the word. Oh, boy. Don't forget, all the rules apply in voice chat as well, just so everyone's aware. Before anything happens. Wow, the Texans read the play perfectly. What do you do here if you're the Dreadnoughts? Because if you kick a field goal, it is an 8-point game. So that's technically 1 score. So, yeah, I don't have a major problem with them kicking because they're back at the 7. They probably shouldn't have tossed it. If you are allowed to say it in a real-life setting, then I guess you can say it however you wish. If you're not allowed to say the word in real life, you can't say it here. That's my rule. I know other people are different, but that's my rule. Bo Nix, future Jet. Type in Bo Nix, Oregon highlights, and trust me, you'll enjoy yourself. Can I make you say black? Black. So the Texans are going to try to finish off the game with Sean Tucker, who would be pleased to finish it off for the Texans. And that's a good start. The custom quarterbacks are Jeremy Walker, Kevin Shasha, and Buddy Norris. Is he related to Norris Doris? Who is Stout? Jordan Stout, the punter? I don't know who else Stout would be. What's good, Vatchan? Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Ben Willoughby, but he left the server. Yeah, if they leave the server, you don't have to keep them in the draft class. Big 3rd and 7. I don't know if I trust the Texans to run for 7, although Sean Tucker's my guy, but I don't know if I trust him to run. I would honestly throw the ball because the Dreadnoughts still have 2 timeouts, so it's not like a first down definitely ends it. Sean Tucker dives for the first down. I don't know if he got it, but there is a flag. That's going to be a hold. So it's probably going to be 3rd and 17 or 4th and short. They should accept it. Okay, well, I guess if the Texans are going to punt it, then that's a good move. Houston should probably go for it. I understand that's risky, but it is an 8-point game. So they still would need a 2-point conversion to tie it. Where is Amari Rodgers? I believe he was in the trade where I got Devin Duvernay. He was on my team, and I traded him and a draft pick to the Eagles for Duvernay because I needed a real wide receiver for. Finish the word. I'm not going to finish the word. You're getting close to the rope, so let's maybe settle down. That, the Wizard of Oz. Amari is going to be quarterbacking his team next year. Who needs Bryce Young when you have Pro Bowl QB1 Amari Rodgers? All right, this is it. 4th and 12, the game on the line for the Dreadnoughts. Hurts is not going to just go for a first. He's going to go bigger, go home. Who covered him? Clearly no one. Because Darius Slayton was wide open to the 30. This just got interesting. Was he out of bounds? He was, so they don't even have to go no huddle or call their timeout. So this changes things for sure. Why, you could have said nice. Because we're kind of we had a discussion on the word. So Rashawn Gary has 2.5 sacks. He's pretty good. I would have called the timeout there if I was him. But they still have it in their back pocket. Hurts on the run. That might be a late hit. And it's not going to matter because they bring it inside the 10 and still have a timeout. Yup, late hit. So that's going to be half the distance to the goal line. And they're now going to have it at the 4. And along with that, they don't have to use their timeout on that play because the clock stops because of the penalty. So they still have that timeout in their back pocket if they want to run the ball. Which they're not, and they don't need to. A touchdown for Robbie Anderson. Do we want to call him by his new name now? Nonetheless, they can tie it with a 2-point conversion. So this is pretty much it once again. This is the last game today, yes, along with obviously going through the Week 17 scores. Hurts under pressure. They got it. Robbie Anderson again, 24-24. So we're probably going to overtime. The Texans had this game won until they didn't. All the high seeds in the AFC are probably rejoicing, while all the NFC South and NFC wildcard teams are not pleased with this revelation. So they're just going to run the ball. That's weak. We want to see a Hail Mary. Boo. Although Sean Tucker's going to get a pretty good run, so maybe they will after all, yeah. Can Lamar get the 75-yard Hail Mary? Because he's probably going to throw it from like the... Oh, he's going to throw it from the 20, so it'd be like an 80-yarder. If you consider the distance where he's throwing it. Are we going to have our first Hail Mary of the year? We are, because it's... No, did he catch it? He did catch it, but out of the end zone. That was close. The Hail Mary was completed, but all for naught. And we're going to overtime. Tails never fails. You know the drill, Houston. I tried to tell you, Texans. I tried to tell you. It lands on tails. Houston picked heads. And the Dreadnoughts have a chance to win the game starting with the ball. Tried to help you out, Houston. How many watched overtime games have we had this year? I know both of our games that we watched went into overtime. I'm pretty sure the coin landed on tails both times in our game, too. And obviously we won both of them. Do you think the Bears should trade away Justin Fields? I do not. I think that would be a mistake on their part. So because of that, since they're in our division, I hope they do. Bryce Young's probably a better overall prospect than Justin Fields, but the Bears should just trade down and get themselves a nice little haul. Third and 3. If the Texans get a stop here, that'd be huge. Inversely, if the Dreadnoughts get a big play, it's intercepted! Tre'Davious White with the interception. Jalen Hurts picked on Trey White one more time, and this go-around, it backfires. Wow, that's literally the difference between the result of this game. Trey White has gotten picked apart today, but when he needed to make a play, he did. Wow. And now Houston can win it as long as they don't turn the ball over. And Jalen Hurts was playing so well. All Houston needs is a field goal, although I would think they would be fine with a touchdown as well. G of the G. I wouldn't say it's over quite yet. If the Texans can force a turnover, so can the Dreadnoughts. Unless the Texans are smart. Which, I mean, the Texans are 11-3, so they've been doing something right all year. Yeah, they should. If the Bears are smart, they'll get a deal with the Colts at 4, so that way they get a bunch of picks, and they still get one of the top 2 defensive players, assuming 2 quarterbacks go in the top 3. Why do the Titans suck? Because the coach is tanking. So they're sucking for a reason. They have a bunch of draft picks. 3rd and 4, not even close. They lose 3, but it's fine because all they need is a field goal to win. Why should you speak in voice chat? I don't know. Why should you? The Dreadnoughts call a timeout. It's a 37-yarder. They should make it. When's the last time we've had a kick blocked? I remember when kick blocks were common in Madden. Kick is up, and it is good. And the Texans win it in overtime. 27-24. The Dreadnoughts started with the ball, but the Texans forced a big turnover and are able to win the game. So the NFC South race gets even more interesting. Carolina can now put themselves in first place with a win. Wow, the Texans are now 12-3. If both Denver and New England lose, then the Texans clinch the 1 seed with 1 week to go. Both QBs played well, but the interception by Hurts kind of costed them. Sean Tucker, pleased to say he performed well. 81 yards, over 4 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. Damian Harris did not play so well. Christian Watson and Robbie Anderson were both very good. Rashawn Gary had himself a day, 4 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, and Tre'Davious White played really badly for most of the game. He allowed a lot of big plays, but he had the big interception at the end to win it. Okay, so now we can sim. I'm going to turn my light on real quick because my room is now really dark, and then we can see what happened in Week 17. The Panthers lost, so if the Golden Eagles hypothetically win, then it'd be a 3-way tie for first place in the NFC North. Dear goodness. That division race is going to be very interesting here in Week 18. The tanking Titans hurt the tank by beating the Colts. So Indy's pretty much out now that they are 7-9. So yeah, they're definitely out. Zip and Zappy was solid. Kirk Cousins not so much. The moment was too big for him. Who could have seen that coming? Jawan Jennings played really well, as did Marquez Callaway. The Titans might have the worst receiving core ever. But I guess it's part of the tank. I mean, that was Deuce's strategy to suck It didn't work this week because they won, but the Vikings, they need to win, and oh god, 46-10. Okay, yeah, Minnesota's not good. As for the NFC South, the Dreadnoughts, Panthers, and Golden Eagles are all 9-7, and I would assume all three of them are in the top 7. So there's a shot all three of them make the playoffs. 5 picks? What? Yikes. Tua threw 5 picks. He was doing so good at the beginning of the year, and then it's all fallen off the face of the earth. Kayvon Thibodeau with a pick for Minnesota, while Travarius Ward, John Johnson, the user, Jalen Johnson, Byron Murphy, and Hit Stick Harry all had interceptions for Mexico City. Nick Bacher not making the playoffs. Can the Bengals make it? I've lost count. 8 in a row? 9 in a row? 28-0. How about that defense? We scored 7 points in every quarter, while the Snowhawks had 219 yards of offense. Matt Corral was decent. He got sacked 0 times. That's the most encouraging thing here. Zach Wilson was terrible. Are the Bengals the most complete team in the AFC right now? Maybe. Chase Young, 2 sacks. That's good to see. Most people all went all in for no reason, and it backfired for most of those people. The Bills go 0-3 today. Ouch. Keeping it competitive with the Commanders, though, who are obviously quite good. What happened to Debo? He is on Seattle. He's been passed around like a blunt. He's gotten traded at least twice. Bragging about your... I don't care. We allowed 0 points, so I'll take it regardless of who's playing quarterback. I don't care how bad he is, and we know Zach Wilson is bad. The Broncos lose to the Jets. The Jets went 3-0. They went 3-0 after winning 2 games the entire year. So first of all, thank you, Jets, because this helps our seeding, so I appreciate it. Now we also have the longest win streak in the AFC. How about those Jets? Mason Rudolph was actually kind of bad. That's the weirdest part. So the rest of the team played well. Breece Hall had himself a day. Why did Jamal Williams get the ball 5 times? Did he get hurt? Maybe. Hopefully not. But how about those Jets? Who could have seen that one coming? The Chargers lose 48-7 against the Raiders. The Chargers are tanking at this point, so I guess that's fine, while the Raiders get another win to help themselves in the playoff race. Four-pick day for Herbert. He has been bad all year. 2 interceptions for Xavier McKinney, 1 for Leo Chanel, Jordan Hicks, and Ronald Darby. The Colts lost. The Commanders won. The Chicago Cougars, they beat Seattle. So really any chance Seattle had is probably down the toilet, while the Cougars are in a win-and-in scenario next week. Josh Jacobs is really good. He's going to be an Offensive Player of the Year candidate, I think. I feel a little bit more confident going into the playoffs with Russell Wilson as my quarterback than Derek Carr, but the Cougars went 2-1 with Derek Carr today, so it's not all that bad. The Dallas Cowboys have won 3 in a row. They put up 45. What has happened to this offense? They didn't even throw the ball that well, although they did efficiently. But C.J. Stroud had like 300 more yards than Deshaun Watson did today passing. So what did Nick Chubb do? Pretty good. I was expecting more, to be honest, but still pretty good. Kendall Hinton. Hello, and Keenan Allen was really good. Why is Kendall Hinton doing this? Denver Bronco quarterback legend Kendall Hinton just had nearly 200 yards receiving and lost. T.J. Watt and Josh Sweat with 2 sacks. Mason Rudolph is a big locker room guy, apparently. The Desperados beat the Oilers. That's a big loss for the Oilers. They might be out of the playoff picture at the moment as well. Yeah, Kendall Hinton, that's his new name. Although the Nighthawks are pretty much eliminated now, so there's that. But at least Kendall Hinton played well. Jelani Salami and A.J. Terrell both had interceptions. This is like my worst OFL nightmare. And Nasir Adderley, who's been on my team multiple times. So that's like the trifecta. The Dreadnoughts lost. The Eagles lose to the Explorers. Both of these teams probably are not going to make it at this point. Does the Oilers' loss do anything for you? It helps you guys because it gives you a little more margin for error. So any Oilers loss, any Raiders loss, any Steelers loss is good for you guys. The Explorers obviously beat the Eagles. If the Niners go 3-0, I swear. They did it! Although the Ravens are not good. The Niners and Jets went 3-0 today. What a world! And Travis Flight even played well. So the Lions, I think, clinch the #1 pick if they haven't already. If they lose, then they definitely do. The Golden Eagles won by a lot. The Jets won. 35-0. This team is so bad. The Lions have officially clinched the #1 pick. 35-0. Yikes. Good stream for the Steelers. I think they went 3-0. Justin Fields was bad again. Caleb Williams is going to look nice in Honolulu blue. Let me tell you. Now that it's official. Zadarius Smith with 4 sacks. The Monarchs. Win streak continues. They have not lost since week 4. Imagine losing to the Monarchs. Couldn't be us. Haha, your team lost. I'm not the Lions in this league, so I don't care. The Lions, I literally could not care less if the Lions were good here. Because my team is 12-4 and in first place of our division. So I'm good. The Nighthawks lost. They've lost 4 in a row. Eek. The Oilers lost. They've lost 4 in a row too. The Orbits beat New England, so the Orbits still have a shot. While New England keeps on losing. They've already clinched their division, so it's fine. But this helps proceeding. Since the Broncos and Patriots lost, I think the Texans officially clinched the #1 seed, if I remember correctly. The Panthers lost. The Patriots lost. The Raiders won. The Rams beat the Steelers 31-28. The Rams helped their seeding out. Well, Memphis' slim shot at the playoffs looks like it's probably toast, although Tom Brady played well. Those neo-fascist New England Patriots who went 0-3 today. The Ravens lost. We saw that. Seahawks lost. The Snowhawks suck. Steamers lost. Steelers won. And that brings us back to Houston. Players of the week. We've got Aaron Rodgers, Desmond Ridder, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Zadarius Smith. Let's take a look at the standings with 1 week left to go. How many teams have clinched? No new teams have clinched. It's the same 7. So 7 playoff spots are still up for grabs. In the AFC North, the Bengals are playing for seeding, winners of 9 in a row. The Texans have obviously clinched the South. They do clinch the #1 because they have the tiebreaker over us. So Denver's 12-4. So maybe Houston doesn't clinch the 1. Yeah, no, it would literally say Z if they clinched it. What am I thinking? So Houston still has to win, but if they do, they're definitely 1. And if not Houston, it could be Denver. But it's not going to be us. But we are now 3. We passed New England. We don't do full team dev trades. I don't go through every player. That would take a while. The Monarchs have the Z. They clinch the #1 seed. They can rest all their starters after winning 12 in a row. While the Lions have lost 11 in a row and have clinched the #1 pick. Whoa, that was loud. In the NFC South, 3-way race. The Dreadnoughts, Panthers, and Gold Eagles. They're all 9-7. It looks like the Dreadnoughts, I guess, have whatever tiebreaker is there, but anybody can win that. The Commanders clinch the East. Cougars are in a win and in scenario. And the Rams clinch the West. And I don't think anybody else there is going to make it. So this is what we're currently looking at for the playoff picture. Wow, we're 2. How did we jump? Oh, because Denver lost. I'm stupid. Do we have the tiebreaker over the Broncos? I don't think we played them. But I guess we have whatever tiebreaker is there. So the Raiders and Steelers move up. The Bills drop to 7, although they are still there. While in the NFC, the Panthers, Cougars, and Golden Eagles hold the 3 wildcard spots. As for the teams in the hunt, so the Bills at 8-8 or 7, they're tied with the Orbits and the Oilers, and nobody else really has a shot. I guess the Colts and Steamers are not mathematically eliminated, but like they're pretty much done. I don't think you can technically rest your store. Actually, you're probably going to get the 1 seed, but I guess if the Broncos, let's say you lose, we win, and the Broncos win. Obviously, you'll be ahead of us because of the tiebreaker. Let's see if the Texans play Denver. Does not look like it. No. Okay. I think the game is saying Denver still has a mathematical shot of being the 1 seed. I'm not sure how. It would be pretty unlikely. So I guess don't rest your starters just to be safe. Although maybe you want to rest certain starters. You might be a little bit more worried about getting hurt. I'm not sure. And then in the NFC, the Monarchs have 1. The Commanders can get 2 with a win. These 2 will get 2 and 3 in some order. How is that possible? I don't know. Madden's just kind of weird. So I don't know. But chances are you'll get the 1 seed. The Dreadnoughts, Golden Eagles, and Panthers are all fighting for this 4 spot in the NFC. The Cougars are in a win-and-in scenario, and then the only other team in the wild card race is Minnesota. So everybody else here is out. So if all these teams win this week, they'll be in. If one of them loses, then that presents Minnesota with an opportunity to jump in and steal their spot. Is my scenario winning in? Yeah, because you guys are currently 7. So unless Madden pulls a fast one on us, then I think you'll be good as long as you win. Let's look at the league schedule. What games do we have? Golden Eagles have to win. Tank. New England's playing for seeding. Cougars are in a win and in. Are the Orbits 7-9 or 8-8? I think the Orbits still have a no. The Orbits are 8-8, so they still have a shot. So they win. The Dreadnoughts are a win and in. The Commanders are playing for seeding. We're playing for seeding. The Oilers need to win to get a spot. The Vikings need to win. The Raiders are a win and in, while Denver's playing for seeding. Whoa, this is a ball game right here. Winner makes the playoffs. Loser probably doesn't. I think we have to watch Bills and Steelers. London has the 1, so this game is not important. The Steamers have like a very slim shot, so I guess they're still kind of in it, but not really. Rams are playing for seeding. Panthers, they need to win to be in, while the Texans get the 1 seed if they win. All right, now we can do team stats. So everybody put your teams in. I know the Explorers specifically wanted to see theirs, so I'll show them while we wait for everybody else to put their stuff in. First team I see is the Jets. With this amazing quarterback room. What a group. Mason Rudolph leads them in passing yards. And he was signed like 3 hours ago. The Chargers might step down. Why? I mean, Kenny can do what he wants, but does he have a reason to? And Frank's not even number 1 on the wait list, so Kevin would get the Chargers, not Frank. Frank would move up on the wait list, but Kevin would get the team if he wants them. Dallas is next. He said he's too busy. Okay, so if he does want to step down, then the Chargers would get, or not the Chargers, what? Yes. If Candy steps down, then Kevin would get the opportunity to take the Chargers, assuming he wants them. If not, then Frank would be the next on the list. We're negotiating terms with Kevin. Okay. So, I mean, if Kevin agrees and Candy does step down, then you would be next in line. After Dallas is the Eagles. Why did I don't know why Danny said the Eagles, but maybe Nickinator told him to because he left or something. I don't know, but we'll show him. Oh, Nickinator's here anyway. Okay, well, Danny said the Eagles first, so there you go. And for being a good friend, there's Chidobe. We'll do the Niners next. Travis Flight only threw 1 interception today. Good for him. You see, when you don't turn the ball over, you're going to win. After that, we've got the London Monarchs. Holy hell, Trey Hendrickson. Oh my goodness. Those are some numbers. The Orbits. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. I've never seen Rodgers be good in sim. Why is he so good? I don't know, but he is really good. As is Cameron Dantzler with his 8 interceptions. Bills. $17. I did not know he had 17. I knew it was quite a lot. I didn't know it was that much. Although the other numbers look good. After the Bills, we've got the Memphis Steamers. I passed them. There they are. Travis Flight is a white Jameis Winston. I feel like that's disrespectful to Jameis. Although Flight does have some big numbers in the other not really that big, but like decent numbers in the other categories. After the Steamers, we have the Cougars. Here are the Cougars. After the Cougars, we have the Texans. I want to see my special teams touchdowns. I can do that. Sean Tucker, kick return touchdown. That's new, isn't it? I am pleased to see that. Sean Tucker's like that. After the Texans, the Commies. Hail to the Commies. Pause. Am I going to do league-wide stats after this? Yes, I will. Then we had the Chargers. After the Chargers, that might be everyone, is it? Oh, Oilers. Jelani Salami leads the Oilers in interceptions. Dear God. Anyone else? Golden Eagles. Hector told me to. Jamison Crowder is nearly 1,200 yards. After them, anybody else? Did I miss anyone? Chargers officially resigned. Okay, so Kevin has the opportunity to get the Chargers if he wants them. If he doesn't, then you would be the next in line. We'll do the Bengals and then we'll do league-wide. Kevin took the Chargers. Okay, so 3,000-yard receivers. Cool beans. So I guess Kevin now coaches Chargers. Good for him. Quinn Nelson did not allow a single sack today. Did we do the nuts? I don't think so. So we'll do the nuts. And then we'll do league-wide stats. The Knots is a good, like, short nickname for them. Giddy was trying to get the Pioneers to be the Nears. That didn't really work. But the Knots is better than the Nears. Von Miller has 24 sacks. That's a record. Patrick McCarry's been on my team as a backup. I've had him. All right, so here are the numbers. Aaron Rodgers is the leading passer rating person among all starters by a lot. Technically, Malik Willis is in second. He's only played like 3 games. The T-Birds is obviously a good one as well. After Rodgers, we've got Lamar, Russ. Again, I don't know why the Cougars cut Russ. He's third in passer rating among starters. Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Jacoby. Why are we getting rid of all these good quarterbacks? Russ was cut. Brissett was benched. I don't get it. It's also still crazy that Matt Corral is this low. Why does the passer rating stat hate Matt Corral? I don't get it. I get his completion percentage is a little bit below average, but he throws for a lot of yards, he throws for a lot of touchdowns, and he doesn't turn the ball over. And his completion percentage isn't horrible. Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb lead rushing by a lot. I have the feeling they both will be Offensive Player of the Year candidates. I know somebody, I think it was Nick, wanted to compare Bijan to Calvin Mentor. Got to really scroll for Calvin. There he is. Trevor Lawrence has 40 touchdowns, so I know the interceptions are a lot, but he's still been good. How is Matt Corral a passing yards merchant when he has a bazillion touchdowns? Maybe not a bazillion, but like close to 40, and he doesn't turn the ball over. If he had a lot of interceptions, then I would kind of get it. But the only stat he lacks in is completion percentage, and even so, his completion percentage isn't like that bad. I pray on the Chargers' downfall. Well, look at it this way. Now that the Chargers have a new coach, you're the first person in line for the waiting list. So, there you go. You went from third to first in like 24 hours. And presumably, there's probably going to be some jobs that open up in the offseason. If we try to figure out if there are any coaches who really haven't been active at all. Is that Thunder? No, that was like, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't Thunder. Probably like a truck or something. Oh, we want by conference for defense. Who are the Dolphins? The Dolphins don't exist. They're the Orbits, and then the Colts is Jose, who doesn't talk a whole lot in the server and the streams, but he always gets his stuff in time, like re-signings and other roster moves. So I don't think I would throw him in the inactive category because he does all of his coaching duties. You should low-key have him replace Giddy. Well, Giddy's active. Giddy doesn't need to be replaced. I'm not going to replace someone just to replace someone. Jake Verity is now the only perfect kicker. Jake Elliott missed 2 field goals today. Luka's been active as well, kind of. I mean, again, another guy who doesn't show up to a ton of the streams, but he's also done all of his roster stuff. So, he's good. I haven't talked about it with the admins a whole lot. We will as we get closer to the playoffs in the offseason. So, presumably, a job is going to open up, but I don't know where that would be. And obviously, if someone were to hypothetically step down, or if we have another Eastmoose situation, which I think with the guys we currently have, I don't think that would be the case. Your kicker is Kyer Vevdik. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP frontrunner. Why is Kyler Murray in 4th? He should not be higher than Lamar or Ritter or Corral. I have no idea if I should put Matt Corral on the MVP ballot, because I feel like he's been like right on the fringe of an MVP contender, but I feel like I would look biased if I did that, because his passer rating is very average, but he's on a 12-4 team. He's been a big reason why we're 12-4, and most of his numbers are really good. So I have no clue if it would be like biased of me to put him on. I don't think he would win it. I wouldn't vote him first, but he makes a case to be in the top 3 to 5. You do know Luka is 14. 14-year-olds can have jobs. Not like full-time jobs, but they can have jobs. Really lucky I can work and OFL at the same time. Yeah, I would assume you're probably not the only one who has a job and does OFL. A.T. Perry's been really good, so I don't even know if we're going to have any quarterbacks on the Rookie of the Year ballot, because Perry, Bijan, and Calvin Mentor have all been really good. Isaiah Thomas's numbers I don't think have been all that great. Maybe if they get one of the playoff spots. Bryce Young, maybe. He's probably been the best of the rookie quarterbacks. Wait, no, I want NFC now. We already did AFC. Antonio Gibson is still in first. What are we doing? Yeah, I don't think Quentin Johnston is in like the same territory as like these guys. So I think realistically it's down to the top 4 guys in the AFC and Bryce Young. IB, it worked. Oh, so you're saying like you can do both at the same time. Okay. Illinois is different laws. Well, I guess Luka doesn't live in Illinois. I don't know where he lives, but is the Explorers guy active? Yeah, he's active. What if Jordan Addison gets 1,000 yards? Then maybe. I guess he would be in consideration. The other 2 receivers, Mentor and Perry, already do. So he wouldn't get in over one of them. Original. Yeah, I read that as Octagonal is pretty active. I was thinking, yeah, I would hope you think that. Will Anderson be D-Right? He has 12 sacks, so... Oh, I already went through all these again. I wasn't even looking at the screen. I was looking at the chat. But yeah, 12 sacks is pretty good. The Falcons don't exist, and their coach is Cobra, who's pretty active. Most of the teams are occupied by active coaches, so if a job opened up, there probably wouldn't be many. But as for injuries, this is what we got. Jeremy Chin, that's new. Tank Lawrence, I think that's also new. Octagonal's pretty inactive. What a scrub. His team sucks. Nerd. Too busy with that damn YouTube channel. Needs to touch some grass and get a real job. What happened here? Oh dear, they had 3 injuries. No wonder they're out of the playoff race. Who's hurt for the Rams? Oh, Chandler Jones has been hurt all year. Yeah, we're not going to open up a job just for the sake of doing it, but if we find a coach who's been inactive, hasn't really done a whole lot, and we don't think will be, then we would open it, because with the league being bigger than it really ever has, we can really have 32 active teams, which is ultimately the goal, along with plenty of players and whatnot. Sorry for quitting so early. It's all good. If you want to make a player, you can. I assume there's still time for Nick's class. I'm not 100% sure. That's up to him. But if you want to, then you can. Just not loving it, though. I appreciate you giving me a chance. Well, we appreciate your time and effort. And again, if you want to make a player, you certainly can. And I think the Chargers are in really good hands. I think, obviously, Kevin's never coached here before, so I don't know exactly how he's going to do. But he seems like a smart fellow, so I think he can handle it. And I think the Chargers have a pretty good roster on paper. It's just that they've gotten a little unlucky with the sim, and Justin Herbert has not been very good. Yeah, you're not, at least you're not Ismu. Like, who doesn't like candy? Whereas Ismu, yeah, I don't know. So I think we covered everything: injuries, standings, playoff picture, stats, players of the week, awards, schedule. So next episode will be week 18. That'll be sometime this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm not entirely sure when, but I'll let you guys know when. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you